Picture a young man. He does not finish high school. He has no degree, no special skills, no clear plan. He takes a job as a laborer. Hard physical work, long hours, very little pay. Most people looking at his life would predict a limited future. A future with few choices, few chances, few real opportunities. This young man's name is Brian Tracy. And today his story looks very different. He has consulted for more than 1,000 companies. He has given motivational speeches to over 4 million people in 40 countries. He has written 45 books. So, what happened in between? What changed this laborer with a limited future into one of the most successful men in his field? It was not good luck. It was not some hidden talent waiting to appear. It was something far simpler: self-discipline. Brian Tracy discovered something most people never fully understand. Success is not a gift given to a lucky few. Success is built, step by step, choice by choice. And the foundation of that success is discipline. Let that sink in for a moment. You do not need to be born into wealth. You do not need powerful connections. You do not need a special talent that other people do not have. What you need is discipline, the ability to do what needs to be done even when you do not feel like it. Now, here is a bold challenge for you. It is not luck. It is not talent. It is discipline. Say that to yourself again. Because once you truly believe this, everything starts to change. You stop waiting for a lucky break. You stop envying people who seem more talented. You start focusing on the one thing that is completely within your control: your discipline. Today we are diving into No Excuses by Brian Tracy. This book is not a soft, feel-good message. This book is direct, honest, sometimes uncomfortable. It tells you clearly. Most excuses are simply that, excuses. And once you remove them, real change becomes possible. In this video, we are going to explore 3 major areas of your life. First, your personal goals. We will explore why taking responsibility and staying persistent are the true foundations of success. Second, your business and money goals. We will explore how discipline can make you a better leader, a better manager, a more successful professional. Third, your overall happiness. We will explore how discipline shapes your health, your relationships, your daily sense of fulfillment. By the end of this video, you will understand one simple truth. A truth that changed Brian Tracy's entire life. A little discipline goes a very long way. So, stop making excuses, and let us dive in. No Excuses, by Brian Tracy. Chapter 1. The Master Skill of Success. Let us start with a simple question. What is the one skill that separates successful people from everyone else? Is it intelligence? Is it talent? Is it connections? Brian Tracy spent decades studying successful people, and he found something surprising. The answer was not any of these things. The answer was self-discipline. Tracy calls this the master skill. Let us understand why this matters so much. Think about any goal you have ever set for yourself. Maybe it was losing weight. Maybe it was starting a business. Maybe it was saving money for the future. Every single one of these goals required the same underlying skill: the ability to do what you said you would do, even when you did not feel like it. This is self-discipline. And here is the powerful part. Self-discipline is not just one skill among many. It is the key that unlocks every other skill you already have. Think of it this way. Imagine you have incredible talent. Maybe you are a gifted writer or a brilliant thinker. But without discipline, that talent stays hidden. You never finish the book. You never follow through on the big idea. The talent exists, but it never becomes real success. Now imagine someone else. Average talent. Nothing special. But this person shows up every single day. They practice. They work. They keep going even when progress feels slow. Over time, who wins? Almost always it is the disciplined person. Not because they were naturally gifted, but because they kept showing up long after motivation disappeared. This is why discipline is called the master skill. It does not replace your other abilities. It activates them. Now let us talk about something most people get wrong. Most people believe successful people are simply lucky. They think that person was born with talent. I was not. Or they think that person got a lucky break. I never will. Tracy challenges this belief directly. He argues that talent and luck are massively overrated. Yes, luck exists. Yes, natural talent exists. But here is the truth. Talent without discipline rarely leads anywhere. And luck tends to find people who are already prepared. People who showed up consistently long before the lucky break arrived. This means something important for you. You do not need to wait for luck. You do not need to wait until you feel talented enough. You simply need to build discipline. And discipline is available to anyone. Right now. Starting today. Now let us talk about the real enemies of success. According to Tracy, there are two major enemies. The first enemy is the path of least resistance. This means always choosing the easy option. Sleeping in instead of getting up early. Watching television instead of working on your goals. Avoiding difficult conversations instead of facing them. Each small choice feels harmless in the moment. But over time, these small choices add up. They quietly shape your entire life. The second enemy is immediate gratification. This means choosing what feels good right now instead of what actually helps you in the long run. Spending money instead of saving it. Eating junk food instead of something healthy. Scrolling your phone instead of working toward your goals. These two enemies, path of least resistance and immediate gratification, work together. They quietly pull you away from success, not through one big decision, but through hundreds of small ones, repeated every single day. This is why most people never reach their full potential, not because they lack ability, but because they keep choosing comfort over growth. Now, here is where this chapter gets truly important. You might be thinking, this sounds harsh. No excuses? That feels unforgiving. But Tracy sees it completely differently. He believes, no excuses, is not harsh at all. It is freeing. Let us understand why. When you make excuses, you give away your power. You are saying, my life is controlled by circumstances, by other people, by bad luck. This might feel comfortable in the moment, but it also means you have no control. If your success depends on luck, then you are powerless to change it. But if your success depends on discipline, then everything changes. Because discipline is something you control. Nobody can take it away from you. No circumstance can prevent you from building it. This means your future is not decided by luck. Your future is decided by you. This is not a burden. This is incredible freedom. Freedom to build the life you want, regardless of your past, regardless of your starting point. Brian Tracy proved this with his own life. Remember where he started. A laborer. No degree. No clear path. He did not wait for luck to rescue him. He built discipline, one choice at a time, and that discipline changed everything. So, here is the big idea of this chapter. Self-discipline is the master skill. It unlocks every other ability you already have. Talent and luck matter far less than most people believe. The real enemies of success are comfort and instant gratification. And no excuses is not a harsh punishment. It is the key to real freedom. Now you might be wondering, how do I actually build this discipline in my real life? Because understanding this idea is one thing. Living it every single day is a completely different challenge. That is exactly where we are headed next. In our next chapter, we are going to talk about something even deeper, taking full responsibility for your entire life. Because before real discipline can take root, there is one critical shift you must make in how you see yourself. Stay with me, because this next chapter might just change how you see your entire life. Chapter 2. Taking full responsibility for your life. Let us begin with an honest question. When something goes wrong in your life, who do you blame? Do you blame your boss? Your parents? The economy? Bad luck? Take a moment. Be honest with yourself. Most of us do this more often than we realize. And according to Brian Tracy, this habit is one of the biggest reasons people stay stuck. Let us understand why. Blaming circumstances feels natural. It feels easier to say, "This happened to me," than to say, "I played a part in this outcome." Blame protects us. It protects our ego. It protects our self-image. But here is the hidden cost. Every time you blame something outside yourself, you give away a piece of your power. Think about this carefully. If your failure was caused by your boss, then only your boss can fix it. If your struggle was caused by bad luck, then you must simply wait for good luck to arrive. Do you see the trap here? Blame feels comfortable, but it also makes you powerless. Because if the cause is outside you, then the solution is also outside you. And that means you are stuck, waiting, hoping things will change. Now let us talk about a completely different mindset. Tracy calls this the shift. The shift from thinking, "Things happen to me," to thinking, "I am in control." This shift sounds simple, but it is incredibly powerful. Let us look at an example. Imagine two people. Both lose their jobs on the same day. The first person says, "This is so unfair. My company ruined my life. I had no choice in this." They spend weeks feeling angry, feeling like a victim. The second person feels the same initial shock, the same disappointment, but then they ask a different question. What can I do about this? What is within my control right now? They update their resume. They reach out to contacts. They look for new opportunities. Same situation, same setback, but completely different outcomes. Why? Because one person gave away their power, and the other person kept it. This is not about ignoring real challenges. Sometimes life is genuinely unfair. Sometimes bad things happen that we did not cause. But here is the key insight. Even when we do not control the situation, we always control our response. And our response is where real change actually begins. Now let us talk about why this matters so deeply. Responsibility is not about blame. Responsibility is not about saying, "Everything bad is my fault." Responsibility means something different. It means asking, regardless of how this happened, What can I do moving forward? This question changes everything. Because the moment you ask this, you move from being a victim to being a creator. You stop waiting for circumstances to improve. You start actively building a better outcome. This is why Tracy calls responsibility the starting point for real change. Without it, nothing else in this book will work. You can learn every strategy, every technique, every discipline habit, but if you still believe my life is controlled by outside forces, none of it will matter, because you will not apply it. You will keep waiting, waiting for permission, waiting for circumstances to change on their own. But once you accept full responsibility, everything becomes possible, because now you are in charge. Now let us make this practical. I want you to think about your own life. Specifically, I want you to think about excuses. Excuses you have been telling yourself. Let us walk through this together. Think about a goal you have not achieved yet. Maybe it is your health. Maybe it is your career. Maybe it is your finances. Now ask yourself, honestly, what excuse have I been using? Is it, I do not have enough time? Is it, I was not given the right opportunities? Is it, my situation is different from other people? Write this excuse down if you can. Say it out loud if you are alone. Now, here is the important part. Ask yourself a second question. If this excuse disappeared, what would I actually do differently? This question reveals something powerful. Often we discover that our excuse was never the real barrier. The real barrier was our own hesitation, our own comfort, our own fear. Once you see this clearly, you can start moving forward, not by waiting for your circumstances to change, but by taking one small action today, right now. Even a tiny step counts, because responsibility is not one giant decision. It is a daily choice, repeated again and again. Every time you catch yourself blaming something outside you, pause. Ask, what can I control in this moment? And then act on that answer. This simple practice will slowly transform how you experience your entire life. So, here is the big idea of this chapter. Blaming circumstances feels comfortable, but it keeps you completely stuck. The shift from things happen to me to I am in control is where real power begins. Responsibility is not about guilt. It is the starting point for genuine, lasting change. Now, understanding this shift is one thing. But once you take responsibility, a new challenge appears. Because taking responsibility is not a one-time decision. It requires something much harder. Something most people give up on too quickly. It requires persistence. That is exactly what we are exploring next. In our next chapter, we are going to talk about why so many people quit right before their breakthrough. Stay with me, because this next chapter could be the difference between giving up and finally succeeding. Chapter 3. The Power of Persistence. Let us begin with a powerful question. What separates the people who succeed from the people who give up? Is it natural ability? Is it intelligence? Is it raw talent? Brian Tracy argues something surprising. Most of the time, it is none of these things. The real difference is persistence. Let us understand why this matters so deeply. Think about two people learning a new skill. The first person has natural talent. Things come easily at first. But when challenges appear, they get frustrated. They quit quickly. The second person has average ability. Nothing special. But when challenges appear, they keep going. They push through the difficulty. Who ends up more skilled 1 year later? Almost always it is the second person, not because they were more gifted, but because they refused to stop. This is the power of persistence. Talent gives you a head start, but persistence determines how far you actually go. Now let us talk about something critical. Most people quit at exactly the wrong moment. Tracy explains this pattern clearly. Success often does not arrive gradually. Instead, results stay hidden for a long time. You put in effort, day after day, and nothing seems to change. This period feels frustrating. It feels pointless. It feels like nothing is working. And this is exactly when most people give up. They think, I have tried so hard. Nothing is happening. This must not be working. So they quit. But here is the tragic part. Often they were incredibly close to their breakthrough. Imagine someone digging for gold. They dig for weeks. Nothing but dirt and rock. Frustrated, exhausted, they finally give up. They walk away. But just 3 feet further, there was an enormous gold deposit. They had no way of knowing this. From the outside, digging looked pointless. But the breakthrough was closer than they ever imagined. This happens constantly in real life. Businesses that almost failed right before massive success. Relationships that almost ended right before a real breakthrough. Skills that felt impossible right before everything finally clicked. The pattern repeats again and again. Persistence is not about ignoring difficulty. Persistence is about continuing despite the difficulty, even when you cannot see results yet. Now let us look at real examples. Think about any successful person you deeply admire. Chances are their early story was not smooth. Most successful business owners faced early failures, rejections, financial struggles. Most great athletes faced years of intense training, with no guarantee of success. Most successful writers faced countless rejections before ever getting published. What made the difference? They kept showing up, not because they were certain of success, but because they refused to let temporary struggle become permanent defeat. Brian Tracy himself lived this truth. Remember his own beginning. Limited skills, limited opportunities. If he had given up early, his story would have ended right there. But he persisted. Through failure, through slow progress, through uncertainty. And that persistence built everything that followed. Now let us make this practical. How do you actually build this daily habit of not giving up? The first step is understanding expectations. Progress is rarely a straight line. Some days you will feel real momentum. Other days nothing will seem to change. This is normal. This is expected. Do not judge your progress by a single day or a single week. Judge it over months, over consistent, repeated effort. The second step is focusing on actions, not result. You cannot always control when results will appear, but you can control whether you show up today, whether you take one more step today. Shift your focus from "Did I succeed yet?" to "Did I show up today?" This small shift keeps you moving forward, even during slow periods. The third step is remembering why you started. When persistence feels hard, reconnect with your original reason. Why did this goal matter to you? This reminder often provides the strength to continue. The fourth step is expecting setbacks. Setbacks are not signs of failure. Setbacks are a normal part of any real progress. When you expect them, they no longer shock you into quitting. Now, here is something powerful to remember. Every person who ever achieved something meaningful faced a moment where quitting felt tempting. The difference is simple. They kept going anyway, not because it felt easy, but because they trusted the process. Even without proof it was working. So, here is the big idea of this chapter. Persistence often matters more than raw talent. Most people quit right before their breakthrough, simply because they cannot see it coming. Real success stories almost always involve quiet persistence, through struggle, through doubt, through slow progress. And you can build this as a daily habit, by managing your expectations, by focusing on actions, by remembering your reasons, and by expecting setbacks along the way. Now we have covered your personal foundation, responsibility, persistence, but discipline does not stop there. It extends into another major area of your life, your work, your career, your financial success. That is exactly where we are headed next. In our next chapter, we are going to explore how discipline transforms your business and your money. Stay with me, because this next chapter could directly impact your income and your career. Chapter 4. Discipline in Business and Money. Let us shift our focus now from personal growth to something very practical, your career, your business, your money, because discipline does not stay in one small corner of your life. It touches everything, including how much you earn. Let us begin with leadership. Many people believe great leaders are simply born that way. They think some people just have it, that natural charisma, that confidence. But Brian Tracy disagrees. He argues that great leadership is built through discipline. Let us understand this clearly. A disciplined leader shows up consistently. They keep their promises. They follow through on commitments. They make difficult decisions, even when those decisions feel uncomfortable. This consistency builds something incredibly valuable: trust. Employees do not follow leaders because of charisma alone. They follow leaders they can rely on, and reliability comes directly from discipline. Now let us talk about management. Good management requires discipline in a different way. It requires setting clear expectations. It requires following up consistently. It requires addressing small problems before they become large ones. Undisciplined managers avoid difficult conversations. They let small issues slide. Over time, these small issues grow into major problems. Disciplined managers handle things early, directly, consistently. This single habit separates effective leaders from ineffective ones. Now let us talk about time management. Here is an important truth from this chapter. Time management is not a personality trait. Many people believe some people are just naturally organized. I am not one of them. This belief is false. Time management is a skill, built through discipline. Just like any other skill, it can be learned, practiced, improved. Let us look at how this works. Disciplined people plan their day in advance. They identify their most important tasks. They protect their time from unnecessary distractions. This is not natural talent. This is a repeated daily habit. Anyone can build this habit, including you. The moment you start planning your priorities, you take back control of your time. And when you control your time, you control your result. Now let us talk about sales. Many people believe top salespeople are simply naturally persuasive, charming, confident, gifted communicators. But Tracy reveals something different. The best salespeople who are the most disciplined salespeople. They make the calls others avoid. They follow up when others give up. They practice their skills consistently, even when they feel confident already. Talent might get you a good start, but discipline is what builds a long, successful career. Now let us talk about decision-making. Every single day we face countless decisions. Undisciplined people make decisions based on emotions. They decide based on how they feel in the moment. Disciplined people pause. They think clearly. They ask, what decision truly serves my long-term goals? This pause, this moment of discipline prevents countless costly mistakes. Now let us talk about problem solving. Problems are a normal part of business. Undisciplined people avoid problems. They hope problems will simply disappear. Disciplined people face problems directly. They break large problems into smaller, manageable pieces. They take consistent action until the problem is resolved. This willingness to face difficulty directly is itself a form of discipline. Now let us bring this together. Let us talk about financial success. Here is one of the most important ideas in this entire chapter. Financial success is not a luck problem. It is a discipline problem. Think about this carefully. People who build real wealth rarely do it through lucky break. They do it through consistent habits, saving a portion of their income consistently, avoiding unnecessary, impulsive spending, investing patiently over time. None of these actions require luck. They require discipline, repeated day after day, year after year. This means something important for you. You do not need to wait for a lucky break. You do not need to wait for the perfect opportunity. You simply need to build disciplined financial habit, starting with your very next paycheck. Now let us bring everything in this chapter together. Great leadership comes from consistency and trust. Effective management comes from addressing problems early. Time management is a skill, not a personality trait. Sales success comes from discipline, not just charm. Smart decisions come from pausing and thinking clearly. Problem solving comes from facing difficulty directly. And financial success comes from disciplined habit, not from luck. This is powerful news, because it means your career, your income, your financial future. These are not led by circumstances outside your control. They are shaped by the discipline you choose to build, starting today. Now we have covered your personal life, and your business and financial life. But there is one more area, just as important, perhaps even more important: your health, your happiness, your relationships. Because success without health and success without happiness is not really success at all. That is exactly where we are headed next. In our next chapter, we are going to explore how discipline shapes your physical health and your overall well-being. Stay with me, because this next chapter connects directly to how you feel every single day. Chapter 5. Discipline in Health and Fitness. Let us talk about something deeply personal: your health. Brian Tracy points out something interesting. Health is often one of the first areas where people make excuses. Let us understand why this happens. Think about how many times you have heard someone say, "I do not have time to exercise," or "healthy food is too expensive," or "I will start my diet on Monday." These excuses sound completely reasonable. But here is the uncomfortable truth. Most of these excuses are not really about time, or money, or circumstances. They are about discipline. Health requires daily choices, choices that often feel less exciting than other goals. Unlike a big promotion, or a large sum of money, health does not give you instant rewards. You exercise today, and you do not look dramatically different tomorrow. You eat well today, and you do not feel an immediate transformation. This is why health becomes such an easy area to neglect. The rewards feel distant, delayed, hard to see. But here is the powerful truth Tracy reveals. Small, disciplined choices compound over time. Let us understand what this means. Imagine choosing a short walk instead of sitting still. On its own, this choice seems small, almost meaningless. But repeat this choice every single day. 1 month passes, then 3 months, then a full year. That small daily choice has now become hundreds of walks. The effect is no longer small. It has compounded into real, measurable change. This same principle applies to every health habit: drinking more water, choosing better food, sleeping at a consistent time. None of these choices feel dramatic in a single day, but repeated consistently, they reshape your entire body, your entire energy, your entire life. This is the power of disciplined small choices. Now let us talk about something deeper: the connection between physical discipline and mental clarity. This connection is often overlooked. Many people separate physical health from mental performance. They think exercise is for my body. Thinking clearly is a separate thing. But Tracy argues these are deeply connected. When you neglect your physical health, your mental clarity suffers as well. Poor sleep leads to foggy thinking. Poor diet leads to low energy and poor focus. Lack of movement leads to sluggish mental performance. On the other hand, when you build physical discipline, something remarkable happens. Your mind becomes clearer. Your energy becomes more stable. Your ability to focus on important tasks improves significantly. This means taking care of your body is not separate from your success. It is directly connected to it. A disciplined body supports a disciplined mind. And a disciplined mind is what drives real success in every other area of your life. Now let us talk about practical habits. What does Brian Tracy actually recommend? The first habit is starting small. Do not try to transform everything overnight. Instead, choose one small habit: a short walk, an extra glass of water, 10 minutes less of screen time. Master this one habit, then add another. The second habit is consistency over intensity. A short workout done consistently beats an intense workout done once and then abandoned. Discipline is not about extreme effort. It is about showing up again and again. The third habit is planning your meals in advance. Undisciplined eating often happens when we are unprepared, hungry, rushed. Planning ahead removes this problem. The fourth habit is protecting your sleep. Many people sacrifice sleep without realizing the cost. Poor sleep weakens your discipline in every other area. Protecting your sleep is protecting your entire day. The fifth habit is tracking your progress. Simple tracking, whether steps, water, or workouts, creates accountability. What gets tracked tends to get improved. Now, here is something important to remember. Health discipline is not about punishment. It is not about hating your body into change. It is about respecting yourself enough to make consistent positive choices. Brian Tracy believes this deeply. He argues that health discipline reflects how you treat every other area of your life. If you cannot discipline your basic habits, other areas will suffer as well. But the reverse is also true. Build discipline in your health, and you strengthen your discipline everywhere else. So, here is the big idea of this chapter. Health is often the first area where excuses appear, but small discipline choices compound into major results over time. Physical discipline directly supports mental clarity, and practical habits, starting small, staying consistent, planning ahead, protecting sleep, tracking progress, these build a foundation that supports your entire life. Now we have covered your body, your mind, your energy, but there is one more area waiting. An area that touches everything you care about most deeply. Your relationships, your family, your true happiness. That is exactly where we are headed next. In our next chapter, we are going to explore how discipline shapes your happiness and your closest relationship. Stay with me, because this next chapter might be the most meaningful one yet. Chapter 6. Discipline in relationships and happiness. Let us talk about something deeply important. Your relationships, your happiness. Most people do not connect these things with discipline. They think love happens naturally. Happiness either comes or it does not. But Brian Tracy sees this very differently. He believes discipline plays a major role in both your relationships and your happiness. Let us explore how. First, let us talk about marriage. Many couples believe a strong marriage is simply about finding the right person. They believe if you choose correctly, everything else will feel easy. But Tracy challenges this idea. He argues that even the right relationship requires ongoing discipline. Discipline to listen when you are tired. Discipline to communicate honestly instead of staying silent. Discipline to show appreciation even on ordinary days. Without this discipline, even strong relationships slowly weaken over time. Now let us talk about parenting. Parenting requires enormous discipline. Discipline to stay patient during difficult moments. Discipline to set consistent boundaries, even when children resist them. Discipline to be present even when you feel exhausted. Undisciplined parenting often reacts emotionally in the moment. Disciplined parenting responds thoughtfully, consistently, with intention. This difference shapes how children grow, how they feel understood, how they learn to handle their own lives. Now let us talk about friendships. Good friendships do not maintain themselves. They require discipline too. Discipline to reach out even when life feels busy. Discipline to show up for others, especially during difficult times. Discipline to remain honest and reliable. Without this effort, friendships slowly fade away. Now let us talk about something even bigger. Happiness itself. Most people believe happiness is random. They think some people are just naturally happy. I am not one of them. Or they think happiness depends on circumstances. If my situation improves, then I will feel happy. Tracy disagrees strongly. He argues that happiness is not random at all. Happiness is built through consistent daily choices. Let us understand this clearly. Think about two people facing the exact same circumstances. The first person focuses on what is going wrong. They complain. They criticize. They dwell on frustration. The second person faces the same challenges, but they choose to focus on gratitude, on solutions, on what is still going right. Same circumstances, completely different experiences. This difference is not random. It comes from discipline. The discipline to choose your focus, again and again. Now let us talk about emotions. This is a critical part of this chapter. Undisciplined people let their emotions control them. They react immediately, without thinking. They say things in anger that they later regret. They make decisions based on temporary feelings. Disciplined people handle emotions differently. They feel their emotions fully, but they do not let those emotions control their actions. They pause. They think. They choose their response carefully. This simple skill prevents countless damaged relationships. It protects trust. It protects respect. It protects long-term connection. Managing emotions is not about suppressing them. It is about directing them wisely, consistently. Now let us bring this together. Let us talk about long-term life satisfaction. Here is a powerful truth from this chapter. People who practice self-discipline consistently report higher life satisfaction. Why does this happen? Because discipline creates a sense of control, and control creates confidence. When you know you can manage your emotions, you feel more secure. When you know you can show up for the people you love, you feel more connected. When you know you can follow through on your commitments, you feel more at peace with yourself. This inner peace is the true foundation of happiness, not perfect circumstances, not the absence of challenges, but the knowledge that you can handle whatever comes. This knowledge comes directly from discipline. Now let me ask you something. Think about your closest relationships. Are there moments where a little more discipline could make a real difference? A little more patience, a little more honesty, a little more presence. Small changes in these moments can transform your closest connections. So, here is the big idea of this chapter. Discipline applies to marriage, to parenting, to friendship. Happiness is not random. It is built through consistent daily choices. Managing your emotions with discipline protects your most important relationship, and self-discipline is directly linked to long-term life satisfaction. Now we have covered so much together. Your personal growth, your career and money, your health, your relationships. But there is one final step. Bringing all of this into one unified way of living. That is exactly where we are headed next. In our final chapter, we are going to bring everything together into one simple daily practice, a practice that can transform your entire life. Stay with me, because this final chapter completes everything we have learned. Chapter 7. Building the no excuses mindset for life. We have come a long way together. Let us take a moment to look back. We started with a simple truth. Self-discipline is the master skill. the skill that unlocks every other ability you already have. We learned about responsibility, the shift from blaming circumstances to taking full control. We learned about persistence, why most people quit right before their breakthrough. We explored discipline in business and money, how consistent habits build real success. We explored discipline in health, how small choices compound into major results. And we explored discipline in relationships and happiness, how consistent effort builds real, lasting connection. Now we arrive at our final chapter. The question we must ask is simple. How do we bring all of this into one complete way of living? Let us explore this together. Here is the first important idea. Discipline is not meant to stay separated. You do not practice discipline in your career and then abandon it at home. You do not practice discipline with your health and then ignore it in your relationships. Real discipline becomes a single, unified way of living. One mindset, applied everywhere. Let us understand what this looks like in practice. Imagine starting your morning with intention, not rushing immediately into distractions. Instead, taking a few quiet moments, planning your priorities for the day. This single habit reflects discipline. Then, throughout your day, you make small choices, choosing focused work over unnecessary distraction, choosing a healthy meal over a convenient, unhealthy one, choosing a patient response over an emotional reaction. Each choice seems small, but together they form something powerful, a consistent way of living. This is the no excuses mindset. Now let us talk about compounding. This idea appeared throughout this entire book, and it deserves one final, clear explanation. Small, disciplined actions do not create small results. Over time, they create massive transformation. Think about a single discipline choice, waking up 30 minutes earlier. On its own, this seems insignificant, but repeat this choice every day for 1 year. That is over 100 extra hours. Hours you can use for planning, for learning, for working toward your goals. Now imagine this same principle applied to every area of your life. Small, disciplined choices in your career. Small, disciplined choices in your health. Small, disciplined choices in your relationship. None of these choices feel dramatic in the moment, but repeated consistently, they completely reshape your entire life. This is the true power of discipline. Not one giant decision, but thousands of small, consistent choices. Now let us talk about excuses one final time. Throughout this book, we have talked about excuses. Excuses about time, about circumstances, about luck. Here is the final truth Brian Tracy wants you to understand. Excuses and ownership cannot exist together. Every time you choose an excuse, you give away a piece of your power. But every time you choose ownership, you take that power back. This is not about perfection. You will not replace every excuse overnight, but you can replace them, one at a time, one day, one choice, one moment at a time. Today you might catch yourself thinking, I do not have time for this. Pause and ask, is this actually true? Or is this an excuse? Tomorrow you might feel tempted to blame your circumstances. Pause and ask, what can I control right now? Each time you catch this pattern and choose differently, you strengthen your discipline. a little more, over weeks, over months, over years. This slow, steady practice builds an entirely different life, a life built not on excuses, but on ownership. Now let us arrive at our final message, the most important idea in this entire book. Discipline is not a personality trait. Discipline is not something you either have or do not have. Discipline is a decision available to every single person, regardless of your past, regardless of your current circumstances, regardless of how many times you have failed before. This decision is available right now, not next year, not someday in the future, today. Brian Tracy proved this through his own life. He did not start with advantages. He started as a laborer, with limited skills, with a limited future. But he made one powerful decision. He decided to build discipline, one choice at a time, and that decision changed absolutely everything. Now, the same decision is available to you. Let me ask you one final question. Somewhere in your life, there is an excuse you have been holding on to. What is it? And what would happen if you finally let it go? What would happen if today was the day you chose discipline instead? Remember this simple, powerful truth. It was never about luck. It was never about talent. It was always about discipline. And that discipline starts with a single decision. A decision you can make right now. So stop making excuses and start building the life you were always capable of creating. Wrap up. We have covered so much today. Let us bring it all together. We explored 3 major areas of your life: your personal growth, your business and money, your happiness. And within these areas we uncovered 7 powerful lessons. Self-discipline is the master skill, the key that unlocks everything else. Taking responsibility shifts you from a victim to someone truly in control. Persistence carries you through the difficult moments right before your breakthrough. Discipline in business and money builds real, lasting success, not through luck, but through consistent habit. Discipline in health transforms your body and your mind, one small choice at a time. Discipline in relationships builds real happiness, not randomly, but through consistent daily effort. And finally, building the no excuses mindset brings all of this together into one unified way of living. Now let us remember where this journey began. A young man, no degree, no special skills, working as a laborer. Brian Tracy could have stayed there. He could have blamed his circumstances. He could have waited for luck to change his life. But instead, he chose discipline. And that single choice built an extraordinary life. A life of impact, of success, of purpose. His story is proof of one simple truth. Your starting point does not determine your future. Your discipline does. If Brian Tracy could transform his entire life through consistent daily choices, so can you. This video gave you the core ideas, but the full book, No Excuses, goes even deeper. Contains all 21 chapters, covering every area of your life in even more detail. It contains practical exercises designed to help you apply these lessons directly to your own life. If anything in this video resonated with you, I truly encourage you to read the complete book. Give yourself the full experience, not just the summary. Now, before you go, let me ask you something. Out of everything we covered today, which lesson spoke to you the most? Was it taking responsibility? Was it persistence? Was it discipline in your health? Or your relationships? I would love to know. Drop a comment below. Share which lesson you are ready to apply. And if this video brought you real value, please hit that like button. It truly helps this channel grow. And if you are new here, hit subscribe. This channel Bookverse breaks down powerful books like this one, so you get real value without reading hundreds of pages yourself. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, it was never about luck. It was never about talent. It has always been about discipline. And that discipline starts today. Take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next video.